I don't think I've ever actually taken the time to talk about Archer on my channel for more than like 2 minutes at a time. I should actually talk about Archer. I should talk about Archer at some point. I don't know. I'll look into that. Hi, everybody. Alright, so today we are going to be doing another little installment in... I don't remember what video it was, but I did a video recently basically explaining why good characters were good. Basically, I want to actually explain why good characters are good, because most people do not explain that, they just expect you to know, and that's aggravating. So we're extending that even further today, and today, I am going to talk about characters' best teammates, and why those are the best combos in the game. Twitch chat, you guys are going to be throwing out some suggestions for me to go off of, you know, be a good little joint effort today. Because Lord knows there are so many characters I can possibly talk about right now. Let's pause real quick and take a brief word from our sponsor, LD Shop. With so many good characters coming out soon, many players simply don't have the jades they need to get them all. Now, if only there was a cheaper way to get top-ups for games like Star Rail and ZZZ. Well, that's where the sponsor of the video comes in, LD Shop. LD Shop is a safe and reliable top-up site for all your favorite games. They offer top-ups at a more affordable price than in-game, and can even activate your first top-up bonus if you haven't used it already. All you have to do is click the bundle you want, put in your server and UID, and your top-up will appear in-game shortly after. If you buy using my link as well, you can get a 5% and 15% coupon good for $50. Last but not least, if you consistently use LD Shop and spend over $80 for the month, you can get an Express Supply Pass completely free on your homepage. Use the link in the description or the pinned comment. Thank you so much to LD Shop for sponsoring. Let's get back to the video. So, we got our pretty little pre-win page pulled up here. There are a few that we could start with, and I know we were talking about, like, Mighty, which, again, not too sure about who his best teammate truly is at this point. I think there's an argument for a few, but let's start with... let's start with probably the most premier combo in the game. So... let's start with the easy one of Casteris and Hyasin. You can also say Evernight and Hyasin. I don't think Evernight is as dependent on Hyasin. However, she is so much more fun if you have that goddamn light cone. It is actually a massive difference. Alright, so what makes Casteris work well with Hyasin specifically? The way Hyasin works is that on her ultimate, she will increase your max HP, and she will do it for the entire team. Casteris is a character who literally drains the HP of the entire team to empower herself and, like, her attacks. It's pretty easy to see how that combination ends up being extremely helpful. With Hyasin specifically, she is a character who is busted, so she will also deal a lot of damage alongside the main team of Casteris. She'll constantly be able to pump out damage numbers, and the thing is, though, is that when Ika attacks, you actually get to still generate charge for Casteris. Casteris gains charge from, like, damn near everything, it feels like. I'm pretty sure I could stub my toe and Casteris would gain at least 2 charge. Like, I'm gonna be so for real. So, considering you want to have Hyasin at 200 speed, which, if you do not know, having Hyasin at 200 speed basically means that you get another whole extra action per cycle. That is cooked. That is, like, it's hard to get 200 speed. I mean, if you ever light cone, it's not that bad, but conventionally, it is hard to hit 200 speed. But if you do, you are getting a lot more actions, and that means that Ika is going to be attacking a lot. Ika already does a fair bit of damage, but also, that means that you're getting to use more Hyasin skills, which, hey, they heal, so you're generating for Casteris. And you're getting Ika to attack, which is also going to generate for Casteris. With Casteris moving slow, she relies on outside sources to really charge herself up in a lot of cases. And Hyasin, being one of the fastest characters in the game conventionally, that combo ends up working incredibly, because now Casteris will get to do her skill whenever she does her skill, and that gives, like, a fair bit of charge. And then Hyasin will basically take care of the rest of it, getting you the dragon, honestly, almost all on her own at that point. That's not even taking into consideration, like, if you have the rest of the ideal team, which is, like, Trippy, Cyrene, or Evernight, who are all also amazing generators for Casteris. this character is just cooked. Like, this character is just cooked. But I cannot emphasize enough how important Hyasin is specifically because of that max HP increase. It is drugs. It is just straight up like drugs. It is so good for her. Like, there is such a substantial difference between Hyasin and Casteris and just Casteris, even if you have the rest of the ideal team. Because that's me. I have the rest of the ideal team. And I was getting my ass kicked. I was fighting for my life in the anomaly arbitration against Lygus. And then, in this anomaly arbitration, I played poorly and still got 3 fucking cycles. Game design, baby! Alright, yeah, I still think Hyasin is a sin on this earth, but goddamn, she's good. I can't say anything about that. She is very, very good. Alright, chat, so now we have the reviewer retention, so now who do we go for? Now, we've already got the viewer retention on YouTube, because people want to hear about the funny, silly, really good characters, so now who do we talk about? So, next character we're going to talk about is going to be Heceland. Heceland's best teammate is Kafka, and it is not close. The thing is, though, is that I feel like we have to specify something here. Kafka wants to be built a certain way, and I've seen a lot of casual players not really try and implement this, which is absolutely fair, because how you have to build Kafka nowadays if you want her to be quote-unquote her best is so stupid. Like, it genuinely makes no sense how you have to build Kafka nowadays, but hey, it works. So, with the pairing of Heceland and Kafka, Heceland is the damage dealer. What might throw you off is that Heceland will do a fair bit of damage, but then Kafka will be hitting for like 400k with her skill. Or she'll be hitting for maybe even 1 million with her ultimate on multiple enemies. So why am I saying that Heceland is the damage dealer? The way it works is that DOT, you are detonating the DOTs that are already placed on an enemy. So every time Heceland attacks, she places DOTs. Kafka's main purpose is detonation. She has it built into every part of her kit except for basic attack. She will look like she's doing all the damage, but no, she is just enabling Heceland's damage. Because if you try and run just Kafka as like your DOT carry, you're gonna notice the damage number falls off dramatically. You'll go from like a 200k follow-up attack to 34k follow-up attack. That is not normal. And that is because Kafka is not the one doing the damage. Kafka is the support of the team, realistically. That's not really a common concept that people understand because it's so goddamn stupid. Like, this is a DPS character. What do you mean she's a support? The way these two interact is... it makes a lot of sense once you actually get into the game and start working with it. But if you are not familiar with it, or if you're still new, this doesn't make sense. And especially, like I said, the way Kafka needs to be built doesn't make sense. Take a guess, viewer. If you're a casual viewer, what the hell do you think Kafka's best build is? Oh, like Lightning set? The DOT set that Black Swan and Heceland use? No, it is Eagle! What do you mean it's Eagle? And it's not just Eagle. It is Eagle with specifically before the tutorial mission starts as the light cone, so that you can get a bunch of energy constantly. That makes 0 sense. And when new players ask why, that's a great question because it shouldn't make sense. But for those of you who do not know, Kafka on her ultimate will detonate DOTs. That is a lot of damage constantly, and it refreshes her follow-up attack, which, hey, by the way, also hits DOTs and also detonates them. So, you basically want to turn Kafka into a Beyblade. You want Kafka to constantly be doing her ultimate and getting those charges back. That's what tutorial mission is for. The Eagle set comes in. Eagle gives a huge action in advance to the wearer. So then what you want to do is you want her on Eagle because if she's going to be ulting that much to begin with, guess what? You get more actions out of it because you are being advanced so far. It's stupid, it is insane, and it works perfectly. There is no one else who can replicate what Kafka does for DOT. And conversely, there is no one who can provide the damage output that Heceland's can. It is not close. Like Black Swan, no, absolutely no shot. She cannot replicate what Heceland's does. These two characters are probably the most linked together characters in the game, barring... No, actually, these two are definitely the most linked together characters. There's a close contender coming up, but overall, you need these two to work together, and you need to run them in this way if you want the most value for your team. Black Swan does like half of what Heceland's does. Oh, that's generous. Okay, no, that's mean. It's not actually that much, but I'm trying to think, what are the other biggest combos in the game? Because here's the thing, chat, and it's like, I know I got a lot of the Anexa fans in here. I don't think I actually have to talk about Anexa, and it's for one specific reason. Actually, you know what? Fuck it. Include this in the video. I'm not going to talk about Anexa today because Anexa as a character has so many ways to play him. And yes, he does have a character that runs best with him. But here's the thing. He can run in so many scenarios, in so many ways. It's actually ridiculous what this man can do. He is one of the most versatile DPS in the game. And while I don't think his ceiling is going to be as high as other characters going forward, because even now, I do think his ceiling is not as high as some of the other characters, even though he is, I will clarify again, really good. But his ceiling, in my opinion, is not as high as some of the other characters. A character who is versatile and can work in so many scenarios and work in so many ways, even with a best teammate, his performance can actually still measure up, unlike somebody like Archer, who the moment you lose Archer's best teammate, his performance goes into a fucking ditch, straight up. So that's the main reason why I don't want to talk about Anexa today. I just don't think he needs, like, the recognition of, like, oh, this is his best teammate and he really needs it. He doesn't. I'm gonna be honest. He really doesn't. He's actually doing perfectly fine. Alright, next character combo we're gonna talk about is going to be Sunday with specifically Agia and Jinguen. Agia and Jinguen need this man like, I can't even describe anything close enough to how much they need this motherfucker. Like, Jesus Christ. It is insane. Let's start with, I'm gonna be frank, the better of the two characters. Agia is unbelievably dependent upon Sunday. The way Agia works is that in her base form, she gets horrible damage. She has no damage whatsoever in her base form. And Garment Maker also has absolutely no damage in base form. You need to achieve your ultimate with Agia as soon as humanly possible. The problem is that her ultimate is massive to get. Sunday's energy regen is straight up the best energy source in the game for Agia. Jinguen gives 60 flat energy, and in a lot of cases, that is going to be straight up better. For Agia specifically, she has enough energy to the point that you can actually use Sunday, and you will get more energy out of it, I'm pretty sure. I'm like unbelievably confident in this. That is already a rare sight to see Jinguen's ultimate overpowered by something else. And then we get into the actual main mechanics of the character. This is a character who, in my opinion, embodies the Remembrance Path the absolute best. A character that feels like it is properly in harmony with a summon. And these two characters are working together to get the best possible result. Agia and Garment Maker, whenever they're in their ultimate, they will attack together and do much more damage. However, Garment Maker is still capable of attacking separately. With Sunday, you can bring up both the main character and the summon will do far more damage. If you lack this, you are going to fucking struggle if you do not have, like, E1 Agia straight up. Even Huohuo is not enough to actually fix whatever is going on with Aglia's base level kit. It's just not enough. When it comes to the way Aglia works, Sunday is genuinely so important because getting those extra Garment Maker attacks, that is going to get your energy up a lot higher. Not to mention, getting that additional damage boost for Aglia and Garment Maker with that many attacks is going to add up substantially. You're probably getting, just by having Sunday, you're probably getting like 3 to 4 more Garment Maker attacks throughout a battle, throughout a cycle even. It is that important to what the character does and to the team at large. Sunday is just not a negotiable character if you want a good Aglia team. Now think about everything I just said, double it, and pass it to Jinguen. Jinguen is a dead corpse without Sunday, I'm gonna be honest. He is a dead corpse. He is actually that bad in modern day. Cause, A, they never buffed the man, which by the way, what the fuck? Can we please get a Jinguen buff? And then, Lightning Lord, he ain't hidden like a truck nowadays. And Jinguen, I'm pretty sure I could do more with a pool noodle than what Jinguen does with his weapon. All of his damage comes from Lightning Lord. However, if Lightning Lord is not acting consistently, and has not been improved in any substantial way, guess what? You get nothing out of that man. You get absolutely nothing. Jinguen is unbelievably dependent upon Sunday, because Sunday fixes everything that's wrong with this character. The perfect way to play this character is simply you build a -1 setup. For my viewers who may not be familiar, you want your DPS at 135 speed, you want Sunday at 134 speed. The way this works is that, in the action order, Jinguen will attack first. Then, Sunday can action advance Jinguen to go again immediately, Jinguen attacks again, and with Sunday specifically, the Lightning Lord will then act immediately afterward. This means you are going to consistently be getting much more damage, and you are going to be getting it a lot faster. This is essential for a character who is very old and just doesn't have a lot going for him. He needs this type of enhancement. That is also why I would highly recommend, if you are somebody who really loves Jinguen, don't pull his Eidolons. Don't even pull his fucking Light Cone as far as I'm concerned. Actually, you probably should pull his Light Cone. But if you are a massive Jinguen fan, please, for the love of God, pull E1 Sunday. E1 Sunday is of the biggest benefit in the game to Jinguen specifically. You might be asking why. E1 Sunday gives a defense ignore to the character, the actual character, and then it gives, I believe, a 40% defense ignore to the summon specifically. Remember, Jinguen doesn't do the damage. Lightning Lord does all the damage. So, with that in mind, you are getting an 80% damage boost, a 40% defense ignore, and you're just getting more damage overall, all from Lightning Lord. E1 Sunday is one of the best investments in the game if you are a Jinguen fan and you want him to work for a very long time. You could also just pull E6 Robin. No, don't actually do that. Don't actually do that. E6 Robin is also horrendously overrated, by the way. Stop at E2 at best. Stop at E2 at best, by the way. I won't ask chat yet. Let's quickly knock this one out. So why exactly is Archer so dependent on Sparkle that people say he is a bricked character without Sparkle? Well, it's quite simple, actually. Sparkle is a fundamentally mediocre character, Nim Don't Kill Me, who does not give a 100% action advance. That is a detriment in a game like this in most cases. It can still be a detriment to Archer as well, but I digress. The reason Sparkle is so important, even despite her flaws, and then her Light Cone isn't as good as Sunday's, some of her buffs just straight up aren't as good as Sunday's either. The reason Sparkle is so good is because she advances your skill points by 2. Combining this with Archer means you get 9 skill points to work with. Archer fires shots of his skill for 2 skill points. Reminder, Sparkle, with her ultimate, regens, I believe, 4 skill points. So, when you think about it like that, it suddenly makes a lot more sense why this character is so essential. No other character in the game is capable of pumping out skill points specifically the same way that Sparkle is. Sunday is absolutely incredible for sustaining your skill points. Sparkle doesn't sustain skill points as much, but she gives you a massive boost of skill points. This is so incredibly valuable for a character like Archer, because there's a lot of cases where you can start firing shots as Archer, you're about to run out of skill points, and you can just Sparkle and you get like 2 to 3 more shots. That's insane. That is so helpful for the character. And without anyone else in this game being able to replicate that, that is why people will often say if you don't have Sparkle, Archer is a character not worth using. Because she is just that good for him, and all of your damage and rotations will be insanely different and consistently worse without this character. It's unfortunate because I myself would love to use Archer. I don't have Sparkle. It just doesn't feel worth it. It just doesn't feel worth it, unfortunately. And there are solutions, there are ways to work around it, but again, for the lack of real other options, the amount of value you're losing, it just doesn't feel worth it, in my opinion. At that point, just use a different character. You'll probably find a lot of success with them either way. I don't think you need Sparkle when you have E1 Archer. Well, yes, but that's E1 Archer specifically. Some people didn't even want the damn character. I don't think I'm going to be able to convince people to pull a goddamn Eidolon for him. Also, there's a skunk outside my window, and the fucking smell is wafting into my room, and I'm gonna kill myself. Let's talk about one more character for today. Who should we talk about, chat? Oh, I didn't talk about Trippy and Herta. I'm an idiot. That's actually a very important one. I actually completely forgot about that. That's actually, I can't believe I forgot about that shit. What is wrong with me? I'm not sure if this is the last character of the day, but the next character on the list is the Hera and Trippy. Now, some people will hear me say Trippy, and they will be confused, because it's like, wait, what do you mean Trippy is the best teammate? Shouldn't it be Anexa? Anexa is such a powerful character. Anexa was made initially to work with the Hera, so by that logic, it should be Anexa is the best teammate for the Hera. No, that's just not. Nope. Nope. That, I disagree entirely. It's not. So let me browse the Hera real quick. Let me go on over here. So, A2, or it's called Aloofly Honest, is the trace. When ally target's attack inflicts 1 stack of interpretation on the hit enemy target. After attacking, for every 1 target hit by this attack, regenerates 3 fixed energy for the Hera, counting up to a maximum of 5 targets. When using enhanced skill, and if the primary target's interpretation stack reaches 42, increases ice damage dealt by the Hera by 50% until the end of this attack. So, the reason this is so good, Trippy is a character who will consistently hit everything on the field. Anexa is also capable of that, I will fully admit. Anexa can also do that. But, man, Trippy is a character who offers a bunch of buffs. She offers an insane amount of damage and energy regeneration for the Hera. And the other very interesting part of this is that most players do not have a Trippy light cone. Most players use DDD on Trippy. Hera is a character who is very slow. Hera is a character who is meant to be pretty damn slow. With that in mind, Trippy on DDD will consistently move your Hera a bunch. She will move the Hera so often, meaning Hera will get to attack more, which then leads to more Hera ultimates, which leads to more damage. And keep in mind, Trippy gets energy by enemies attacking too. Trippy also benefits an insane amount from characters attacking and attacking often. Trippy enables the Hera to go even faster, to attack even more, and Trippy, as a result of that, benefits the same way that Hera does. Let's see. Here it is. After other ally targets attack, Trippy regenerates 1.5 energy for each target hit. Reminder, Hera hits everything. Hera hits everything and does a bunch of damage to everything. And with a character that is constantly reliant upon ultimates in the Herda, every time the Herda ults, Trippy will get the follow-up attack, and then your other teammates contribute to that as well. It is overall just a match made in heaven at that slot. And yes, Anexa is helpful. Anexa, compared to Trippy, I don't think it's close. I think Trippy is definitively the best Herda teammate. I would rather use Mini Herda and get Eidolons or a Light Cone on the Herda if I have Trippy. Anexa is not worth getting at that point. You should get Anexa as your solo carry at that point. You should just make an entirely new team with Anexa on it and keep Herda on her own. I feel like this is... I don't know. I don't think this is a hot take. I feel like this is just an uncommon take. I feel like you either know this or you don't. And I feel like a lot of people don't or just don't accept it. Yeah, no, Trippy is definitely the best teammate for the Herda, in my opinion. All right. Yeah, you know what, chat? I think I'm going to call it at that one. I think, yeah, that's 55 minutes. And only, like, we can cut out maybe 20 of it if I'm lucky. I'm going to be honest. It's probably closer to 10 minutes of cutting, but oh well. Anyway, well, that is going to be all for today. There are honestly quite a few characters I could still talk about. Like, Saber. Saber's best teammate is also probably Sunday. Again, Anexa. We could talk about the Ceridra combo. Finon. Finon's best teammate. It might be two people if you have Sunday and DHPT. I'm going to be so for real. And then there's Mighty, who dead ass, I think he has a best teammate at different Eidolon levels. That's rough. That is fucking rough. We're going to call it here for today, though. I think those were good characters to go over. I really hope you guys all enjoyed this. It was a lot of fun to talk about. And yeah, I've got plenty more good videos coming out soon. So I will see you guys then. Bye-bye.